Istanbul is a city that sits between worlds, literally. The Bosphorus divides it. Europe on one side, Asia on the other. They're connected by bridges and ferries, but they feel different, sound different, move at different rhythms. Istanbul isn't just a city, it's a strait, a passage, a place where continents meet and traffic flows constantly. When you first see Istanbul through street view, you notice the water immediately. The Bosphorus isn't calm, it's active. Ships pass through constantly, ferries carrying thousands of people, fishing boats, container ships, military vessels. The water is busy. It's a highway between the Mediterranean and the Black Sea. For centuries, controlling the Bosphorus meant controlling trade between Europe and Asia. That history is embedded in everything. The city was built around this geography. The hills rise up steeply from the water. Buildings seem to climb on top of each other. Streets wind and curve following the terrain. It's not planned like Paris or Barcelona. It evolved, adapted to geography, adapted to the water. The result is organic, maze-like. You turn a corner and suddenly you're somewhere completely different, a different world almost. Sultanahmet is the heart of old Istanbul, the Ottoman core, the religious center. The Hagia Sophia dominates it, built as a church in 537 AD. For over 1,000 years it stood as the largest church in Christendom, then converted to a mosque, then a museum, now a mosque again. It's a building that carries the weight of history in its walls. The dome is enormous, seemingly impossible architecturally. When it was built, it was the largest building in the world. The engineering is remarkable. The space inside is vast, almost unbelievable in scale. Light comes through windows in ways that seem intentional, designed, spiritual. The acoustics are perfect. A single voice can fill the entire space. Standing inside, you feel small. Human scale disappears. You're inside something much larger than yourself. That's intentional. That's what sacred architecture does. It humbles you. The Blue Mosque sits nearby, built in the 1600s, called blue because of the blue tiles inside, also called Sultanahmet Mosque. It's active. People pray here daily, 5 times a day. The rhythm of prayer structures the day. You can enter, but you need to be respectful. Remove shoes. Women cover their hair. Men cover their legs. Inside, the blue tiles cover every surface. Intricate, beautiful, detailed. Ceramic work from centuries ago, still holding, still beautiful. The light is different in a mosque than in a church. The architecture creates a particular kind of sacred space, lower, more intimate, more focused. The prayer ritual is the same 5 times a day. Thousands of years of tradition continuing. In this building, in this moment. That continuity is remarkable. The Grand Bazaar is overwhelming. Thousands of shops, narrow passages, covered areas, open areas. People everywhere. Noise, smells. It's one of the oldest trading centers in the world, used for centuries, still operating. Vendors selling everything, carpets, spices, jewelry, ceramics, textiles, leather. You get lost in there, deliberately. The maze is part of the experience, wandering, discovering, bargaining. It's authentic commerce, not staged for tourists, though tourists go there. But locals buy there too. Real transactions, real negotiations. Heated sometimes, friendly sometimes. The smell of spices fills the air. Cinnamon, cardamom, saffron, cumin. Things from across the ancient trade routes. The bazaar is where history happens still, where the Silk Road still echoes, where merchants still negotiate prices, where tradition survives in the modern world. Across the Golden Horn, that's what they call the inlet that creates the geography of Istanbul, is the modern side. Galata, Beyoğlu. This is where younger Istanbul lives, where restaurants and bars and galleries and music venues are, where international influence is stronger. It feels more European, more contemporary, more cosmopolitan. But it's still Istanbul, still has the chaos, still has the energy, still has that particular Istanbul rhythm that's both exhausting and intoxicating. The Galata Tower rises up from this area, built in the 1300s by Genoese traders. You can see the whole city from up there, both sides of the Bosphorus, the water, the bridges. The geography becomes clear from up there. How divided the city is, how connected, the layout, the expansion, the neighborhoods, where people live, where they work, where they gather. The ferries are crucial to understanding Istanbul. They're not just transportation, they're how the city works, how it functions, how it breathes. People commute via ferry, buy tea on the ferry, fish from the ferry, socialize on the ferry. The ferries are packed at rush hour, tens of thousands of people moving back and forth across the water every day. They're cheap, they're reliable, they're part of daily life, they're democratic. Everyone uses them, rich and poor, young and old, tourist and local, standing on a ferry watching the Bosphorus pass, watching the city from the water, watching the Asian side become the European side. It's a different perspective. The water shapes everything, creates the rhythm, defines the city. The neighborhoods on each side have different characters. The European side is more developed, more international, more expensive, more influenced by Western Europe. The Asian side is quieter, more residential, more traditional, more authentically Turkish sometimes. People have strong opinions about which side is better. It's a source of friendly argument, identity, neighborhood loyalty. Some people have lived their whole lives without crossing the Bosphorus to the other side. It's that divided. Balat and Fener are old residential neighborhoods on the European side. Narrow streets so tight you can almost touch both walls. Colorful buildings, yellow, pink, blue, green, built close together. Very close. Chaotic parking, motorbikes parked on sidewalks, laundry hanging between buildings, children playing in streets, old men sitting outside drinking tea. It's not curated, it's real life. Tourists are starting to discover these areas. Cafes are opening, restaurants, galleries. Gentrification is happening, property values rising. But it's not complete yet. You still see authentic life, actual residents. Not everyone is a tourist or a vendor. People buying groceries, going to work, living their lives. The food culture is serious and ancient. Turkish food runs deep. Kebab in 100 variations. Mez, small plates. Fresh bread still warm from the oven. Tea everywhere. Coffee. The street food is incredible. Vendors cooking in front of you. Selling to locals who know what they want. Markets full of produce. Fresh fish from the Bosphorus. Meat. Everything seasonal. Everything fresh. The ritual of eating is important. Meals are social. Time spent together. Hospitality is serious business. If someone invites you for tea, you go, you sit, you talk, you don't rush. The call to prayer happens 5 times a day. The Adhan. It echoes across the city from different mosques, creating this soundscape, this rhythm, multiple calls overlapping sometimes, creating this haunting harmony. You can't ignore it. It structures the day. Even for people who aren't Muslim, it's part of Istanbul's identity, the spirituality of the city. The mixing of religions is unique in Istanbul. Mosques and churches near each other, Byzantine churches now museums or mosques, Ottoman mosques in neighborhoods that used to be Christian. History layered. Byzantium, then Ottoman, then modern Turkey. All visible, all present, all coexisting, sometimes uneasily, but coexisting. The traffic is chaotic beyond description. Cars and motorcycles and buses and dolmuş, shared minibuses, all competing for space. The rules seem loose. People honk constantly. They cut off each other. They run red lights. But somehow it works. Somehow people get places. It's organized chaos, exhausting to watch, efficient somehow through pure will and honking. The energy is constant. Istanbul doesn't sleep like other cities. Things happen at night, restaurants full at midnight, clubs opening at 1 in the morning, music, people on the streets at 2 a.m. The city operates on a different rhythm. More Mediterranean, more Middle Eastern, less Northern European. The weather changes the city dramatically. When it rains, the hills become slippery. Water runs everywhere. Streams form in streets. When it's sunny, the Bosphorus sparkles. The light transforms everything. Light bouncing off the water, light reflecting off tile, light creating shadows in narrow alleys. The seasons matter deeply. Spring brings flowers and hope. The weather warms. Summer brings heat and humidity and tourists. Fall brings mild weather and clearer skies and fewer tourists. Winter brings cold and rain and a particular kind of melancholy beauty. The city transforms with seasons. The energy shifts. The light changes. What makes Istanbul profound is that it's genuinely between. Not trying to be European or Asian. It's something else. Something that exists because of the Bosphorus, because of geography, because of history, because empires fought over it, because trade passed through it, because people chose to live here despite the chaos, despite the complications, despite the constant negotiations between old and new, east and west, sacred and secular. The city contains contradictions and makes it work somehow. That's Istanbul. That's what makes it real. That's what makes it impossible to forget. Most tourists never cross the Bosphorus. They miss half the city. The Asian side breathes differently. Üsküdar rises up from the water with over 180 mosques. Mihrimah Sultan Mosque, built in 1548 by the architect Sinan, is a masterpiece. Perfect geometry, perfect proportions. The Yeni Valide Mosque, built for a sultan's mother, has blue and white tiles that glow in light. The Şemsi Pasha Mosque sits on the edge of the water, so precisely designed that birds allegedly cannot land on it. These aren't just buildings, they're prayers in stone. The markets of Üsküdar are real, not set up for tourists. Fish vendors know their customers. Vegetables are seasonal. Cheese is local. Walking through, you understand how Istanbul actually functions. Kadıköy, further down the coast, is different, more liberal, more youth culture, more bars and galleries. Moda is the trendy neighborhood, seafront, vintage shops, seaside cafes. The contrast between Üsküdar and Kadıköy is fascinating. Same shore, different energy, conservative versus progressive, both valid. Both Istanbul. Çamlıca Hill is the highest point. From up there, the entire city reveals itself. Both sides of the Bosphorus, the bridges, the scale, the logic. The ferry ride is the key. 15, 20 minutes on the water. You're crossing a boundary, moving between worlds. The Bosphorus isn't just water. It's history. It's empire. It's why Istanbul exists. That's the Asian side, where the city breathes authentically.